Want to attend the legendary Thrivetime Show Business Workshop for free? Subscribe on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com to claim your tickets. Want to live in a van down by the river? Come by and see us at our Riverwalk offices, and we'll be able to make your dreams come true.
Oh, yes, Thrive Nation. Welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrivetime Show on your radio, or for most of you, the podcast downloads. So if you're listening right now and you are from South Korea, hello.
Hello.
Guam, hello. Australia,
again.
Hello to you. Canada, hello to you. Ohio, hello to you. Florida. These are just recent outbursts I've seen.
United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom.
We've got a bunch of
listeners. A lot of downloads there in Canada, a lot of downloads in Mexico, a lot in Washington State. We would just encourage you, Thrive Nation, that if you have not yet shared this podcast with a friend, just tell them about it. Share the podcast with them, and every single show we do is an answer to the questions that you are either asking your business coach directly or that you're emailing us to info@thrivetimeshow.com. Now, Chip, what are we talking about next?
Today we're going to talk about creating a Dream 100 list of businesses, connections, or referral sources that have the potential to do the most business with you.
Okay, so first off, the Dream 100 is a list of 100 ideal and likely buyers. You want to create a Dream 100 list. This is a list of potentially game-changing connections, referral sources, or people that would just, if you got that account, it would blow your mind. So I'm going to give you a very real example of this. Back when I built DJ Connection, I made a list of the biggest companies in Oklahoma, the biggest companies. Put it on we know those fold out boards you use in college when you're making, or high school when you're doing a report, and it like folds into thirds. It's like cork board,
some like poster board type.
Yeah,
foldable thing.
I think it was like poster board meets cork board, and you could like put pictures up on it, whatever.
Gotcha.
I made that, and it said the road to $1 million, and $1 million being $1 million of gross revenue.
Okay,
and I listed all of the major companies in Tulsa, and I did it alphabetically. Mm-hmm. So we had like Bank of America on there. We had Stillwater Bank. We had, I'm trying to think of all the accounts
like
we
Boeing
won.
or something.
We had Boeing. We got Boeing. We got Bama Pie.
Okay.
We got Coca-Cola. We landed Caterpillar.
Oh,
that was the Warren Caterpillar. But it was funny because as we grew the business, and I was looking through the accounts, this is after about 4 years in business, I noticed like we have a ton of business with companies that have the letter A, B, C, D, or E as a name. But we have almost no accounts with the letter E and beyond.
Got that far in the phone book, huh?
Right. Because we made 100 and we bombarded that list of 100. We made a list of 100 and we just bombarded the list. Now, Chet Holmes teaches the proper stoic mindset that you need to execute a Dream 100. And so who's Chet Holmes? Chet Holmes is the former business partner of Charlie Munger. And Charlie Munger is the partner of Warren Buffett. So it's kind of like, Warren Buffett, you go down the hierarchy twice, and there you'd find Chet Holmes. And he wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. But this is what Chet Holmes explains. He says, only 3% of any market is in the buying mode now. So it doesn't really matter whether you need business now or not. Only 3% of the people that I called on that list were even open to hiring a new disc jockey.
Right.
So what we did, and Chup, I'd like for you to put this on the show notes. So we'll put it as an ample example of the DJ Connection story. These are the steps. So I made a list of the Dream 100 accounts I wanted to get. Then the second step was I made a sales script that our team would use to cold call these businesses. And I will just give you an example of what that cold call script was. We would cold call the business, boop, 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 boop. They'd say, thank you for calling Boeing. And we'd say, I'm trying to get in touch with whoever's in charge of scheduling this year's holiday party. And they said, who? And they said, the person in charge of scheduling our holiday party. And by saying our holiday party, they usually thought we worked there, and they let us through. Then we would talk to the person on the other end of the phone, and we'd say, hi, my name's Clay Clark. I'm with DJ Connection, and I wanted to get a hold of you because I wanted to let you guys know that you guys had won this year's holiday party. And they said, what? You actually won 75% off of a DJ for this year's holiday party. And however, I know I wouldn't hire a DJ just because I got him at a discount. I mean, because he could really ruin a party if it's terrible. So I just want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your current entertainment? 10 being the highest, 1 being the least. And they would typically say, 7, 6, something like that. And
6
I'd
or
say,
7.
well, let me ask you, what do we need to do to take that to a 10? Like, what does a 10 look like in your mind? And they would tell us, well, if the DJ was more interactive and if he played songs that people wanted and if he had games to involve people that don't like to dance.
Lights. It doesn't look very nice.
Yeah, they had a lot. Their big issue, Chup, they had, a lot of it was not so much equipment related. It was really focused on the DJ themselves not entertaining the people that didn't want to dance. So they would say, if they could just engage people. And we said, oh, okay, yeah, we can do Price is Right, Name That Tune. We do Family Feud. We do dance contests. We do karaoke. There's a bunch of things we can do. And we actually have a 100-point assessment that we can go over with you of party ideas. And it's free. And if you like what we can do, we'd love to do your first party for 75% off. Now, it would usually get us an appointment with about 3% of the people on that list.
Right.
Every single month, we would call that list, the same list. And then the next step we would do, Chuck, is the next step we would do, I want to put this on the show notes, is we would do a mailer every single month. So every single month, we mailed the same companies and called the same companies. And statistically, we would discover that almost every month we landed 3 out of those 100 accounts every month. And then guess what happens when someone tells me, no, absolutely not, it's not going to happen, it's never going to happen, take me off your list. I would replace them with somebody else. And so eventually, by the time I sold the business, we'd worked our way through the entire phone book. And we had booked pretty much the majority of the major holiday parties. And there was a time in 2007, 2006, where if you lived in Tulsa, and you went to a Christmas party that had more than about 50 to 100 people, there was a high probability that the DJ was a DJ Connection DJ.
Nice.
And if you went to a wedding, it was a high probability that we were the DJ of choice there as well because we had achieved market share by staying consistent. And I talked about the stoic mindset. You cannot be successful when you're mass marketing if you do not develop a stoic mindset. And a stoic mindset is at some point, I'll go into a show about the origins of Stoicism and how that all works. But Stoicism is a mindset where you embrace the horrible, terrible rejection and terrible things that are going to happen. You embrace the bad things that will happen.
Right. And
you give no emotional energy to it.
Power through.
Chup, I think that's a hard part for people. I think that's where people...
It's a real hard part for people. If you don't know about this concept or of that mindset, it's really easy to get shaken whenever you're told no. Nobody likes to be told no, but it's part of doing business. If you're going to sell stuff to people, you're going to get told no.
So now that I took the room down a little bit, let me take it back up. Chet Holmes says, best buyers buy more, buy faster, and buy more often than other buyers. They are your ideal clients. Have a special effort dedicated to just the dream clients. I always tell my clients, be strategic. You want to call them all until they cry, buy, or die. Let me repeat. Be strategic, baby. Call them all until they cry, buy, or die. So here are some examples to build your faith. Did you know that Richard Branson started his empire by cold calling out of a phone book to sell advertising?
Isn't that a crazy story?
And you can cite it and find it in the book called Losing My Virginity. But that's how he landed. You know, he landed his first interview with the newspaper he started called The Student. His first business was a newspaper. And you know he landed his first interview with Mick Jagger by cold calling?
Did not know that.
Did you know that the Slap Watch product that sold millions and millions of dollars of units of that product? Do you know that the Zany bands, both those products, the Zany bands and the Slap Watch, were started by Lori Montag of Montag Photography right here in Tulsa? And do you know that she got on the Ellen show? We're putting a link on the show notes. You can see it. She got her product on the Ellen show. She got her product on the Kathy Lee and Hoda show. She got her product on The View with Barbara Wawa. She got on all by doing this. Now, we have a notable quotable from Travis. This is the founder of Uber. The founder of Uber, okay? This is what Travis says. Can you read this, the notable quotable there, Chuck?
So he says, I went to Google, typed in San Francisco chauffeur or San Francisco limousine. I just filled out an Excel sheet, and I just started dialing for dollars, right? First 10 guys I called, 3 of them hung up before I got a few words out. A few of them would listen for like 45 seconds and then hung up. And 3 of them said, I'm interested, let's meet. And if you're cold calling and 3 out of 10 say let's meet, you've got something.
You understand that Uber was started by cold calling?
That's crazy.
Uber,
you got to get out there and just, it happens.
So that's how Steve Jobs got the funding to start Apple, by cold calling. That's how Ryan Tedder got his deal. Let's put a link to Ryan Tedder on the Today Show. Okay. Ryan Tedder, the Grammy Award-winning artist. That's how he landed his internship, was through cold calling. So here are the action items. You've got to create a Dream 100 list. And that's probably going to take you 5 or 6 hours to make that list minimum. Then you've got to commit, step 2, to a sustainable rejection regimen. You got to commit to being rejected, 97 times a week. You just have to commit to that. Then step 3, you got to embrace the stoic mindset and the business duck emotional philosophy. See, ducks look calm above the water, but below the water, they're paddling. And if you go to the Boom Book, page 8, your business coach can walk you through that. But anytime that you see a calm duck, just know it's paddling hard under the water. And if you see any successful entrepreneur, you've seen somebody who's been rejected a lot underneath the surface. And that is how you execute a Dream 100 system. 3, 2, 1, boom!